Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about, sorry, I'm going to adjust my camera. Today we're going to talk about fractions and some related rates and such. And so, sorry, not fractions, percentages. So the first thing we got to know is what is a percentage? On our last unit, we talked about a percent of fraction being a portion of a whole number or a portion of something that you want to calculate. So let's say a pi, if you want half a pi, that's going to be equal to 1 over 2 as a fraction. If you want a third of a pi, it's going to be equal to 1/3 and such, and so on and so forth. So a fraction is basically a percentage that is expressed. So if you go to like your calculator or anything and you just divide 1 over 2, or let's say you just do it by hand 1 over 2, you can say that's going to be equal to, you can't really divide it. You can't really divide it in the ones place. But if you go into the decimals, if you can say a 5 is here, and then it's going to look like this. So you got no remainder, a remainder of 0, but what you're going to get is 1 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 0.5. This is what you're going to do when you're going to hand divide it. And in doing so, well, you just converted a fraction into a decimal, which is 0.5. And with a decimal, you can convert it into a percentage. Because you know 1 is known as 100%, then 0.5 is going to be equal to half of 100%, and this is going to be equal to 50%. So this is just the most simple way of understanding percentages and how to convert them from percentage to a decimal to a fraction. This is what you're going to have to master is how to convert units from one to the other like this. Now, what might be harder is if something is a whole number. Let's say you have 2 and 1/3. So first, if we're going to want to convert this into a percentage, we need to know, okay, what is this as a decimal? So as a decimal, the 2 is going to be a whole number. So we can just write it here. And then we can just talk about the 1 over 3. So we can divide 1 over 3. And this is the tricky part is, okay, for this number specifically, we say 3 cannot go into the ones place, but it can't go 4 times, but it can go 3 times in the 10th place. So we get 0 over 9, subtract this is 0 over 1. And then you're going to have the same problem where, okay, let's go to the 100th place. We're going to get another 3, and then you're going to get 0.09. This is going to be equal to 0.01. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a repeating number. So 1 over 3, you got to know, is always going to turn yourself into a repeating number. There's also another examples such as 1 over 11 and such like that, but we'll discuss those later. So what you're going to get is when it repeats like this, you're going to write 2.3 with a bar here, which means that's repeating. And again, how you convert this to a percentage, you got to think to yourself, okay, 2 over 3 to the repeating. Remember, 100% is equal to 1. So you can multiply by 100% over 1. So if you multiply it by 100%, it means you're moving the decimal place to the decimal point 2 places here. And what you're going to get is 233.3 repeating percent. And that's your answer, 233.3%. And so this is just how it's going to go. There's applications of it that your teacher will talk about. And another thing we're going to talk about is rates and ratios, actually. This is a more shorter unit. I want to see paper here. So what it's going to look like is what a question as a word problem is going to ask you the ratio. Let's say you have 24 apples and you have 36 oranges. Find the ratio of apples to oranges. So what you're going to do is you're going to just write, okay, if you're finding the ratio of apples to oranges, you can just write apples is 24 and it's against 36 oranges. And you could simplify this. So we both know that 24 and 36 are multiples of 12. So 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 12 is 36. So this is going to be a ratio of 2 to 3, right? Yeah, this is just the general gist of ratios. You can probably deal with it a lot more. This is going to be a pretty short unit, but this is what we're going to be dealing with as of now.